Trauma. Now, what do you think of when you hear that word? I think too often what we associate the word trauma with is very drastic events. So you have trauma patients who have survived terrible car accidents, soldiers who had traumatic experiences in the Middle East and who are now suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a very heavy word, very loaded. One we wouldn't really associate with our regular day-to-day lives, but when I reflect on all the terrible things, I guess you could call them, that have happened to me personally, I think trauma is the one word I would use to describe them. I'm here to show you how I use writing as a tool to heal from trauma, how writing became my medicine, and how you too can use it as a tool to heal. So I guess what we can do is start off with a basic definition. One I really like and that resonates with me is from Liz Millenar, the founder of Heal for Life Foundation, who defines trauma as more emotion than the brain can deal with. So when we experience something that puts us in shock, whether it's a parent dying, losing a lover, or surviving rape, however big or small these experiences are, trauma is when there's basically too much pain for our minds to comprehend, so we are traumatized by certain experiences. We all have stories, we all have pain, and I think that's the one great equalizer between us all, that we all have these burdens of traumas. No one gets out of this life unscathed. We all feel trauma, but the one difference is that we all don't heal from it, and that's the problem. These traumas, if we don't heal from them, keep us trapped and keep us stagnant. So we can move on and live our lives in the physical world, but our subconscious, our mental state will always remain stuck at some point. The hardest thing to do is confront our traumas, look them right in the face and say, hey, I am more than what has happened to me. And for many of us, it's so difficult to have that conversation with ourselves or even share our pain with others. We're always hiding it, burying it deep within ourselves, hoping that, if we silence it, if we bury it deep enough that it'll go away. And as you may know, it doesn't. Writing allows us to have this conversation with us in a safe manner. If you ask me how my life has been up until this point, I would have to say that it's been very full of lots of love and also lots of battles. I'm a survivor of years of sexual and physical abuse. I've battled with depression all my life. These traumas were not easy. The heartache, the years of being bullied by the girls in middle school and the boys in high school were not easy. The physical violence I endured from partners wasn't easy. Being convinced that I was ugly, useless, pathetic, anorexic, that I should kill myself, that I deserved all the violence I had suffered and that I would continue experiencing it because it was what I deserved. That trauma was not easy. Self-harm, suicide attempts are not easy. I'm not here to tell you and share these experiences with you so that you can feel sorry for me. I don't share my stories out of pity. I'm sharing it to show you how I've evolved as a person. Because after all of this trauma piled up, I came to a point in my life where I thought that nothing could heal me. The therapists, psychologists, they all said, you won't exactly get over it. You'll just learn to live with it at some point. It'll never really go away. It'll just numb inside of you. And that's what I thought. I thought that was the truth. All I felt was ache. All I saw was darkness. No matter how hard I tried, how hard I pushed, I couldn't climb out of this dark space that I was in. I couldn't see the light. And all I saw was the end, and all I wanted was the end. And when the end was just seconds away, when the end was just a few breaths off, it was writing that saved me. Writing allows us to sit with ourselves for once in solidarity and confront our deepest, innermost fears. When bad things happen to us, we work way too hard and spend way too much time trying to forget. And we push the thoughts to the back of our head, but that doesn't make them go away. They sit there and they rot. And one day, if you don't confront them now, they'll come pouring out. And at that point, the monster we've been trying to bury for so long will be bigger than what it started as. Writing pulls these experiences out of us safely. It remedies. It is a healer of both mind and body. Last year, Time magazine pushed some findings on a study that discusses how writing heals wounds. It said, and I quote, "This study is the latest delving into the mind-body connection to suggest that expressing emotions about a traumatic experience in a coherent way may be important to not just mental but physical health as well. It showed that the calming effect of writing cut physical wound healing time in nearly half. Researchers led by Elizabeth Broadbent, a senior lecturer in health psychology at the University of Auckland in New Zealand, studied 49 senior citizens aged 64 to 97. For 3 days, half were assigned to write for 20 minutes a day about the most traumatic event they had experienced, and were encouraged to be as open and as candid as they could about exactly what they felt at the time, what they thought, what their emotions and what their feelings were. If possible, they were also asked to share their thoughts and any other thing that they felt. The other participants, however, wrote for the same duration about their plans for the next day, but they were told to avoid mentioning their feelings, talking about their emotions, beliefs, or opinions. 2 weeks after the first day of writing, researchers took small skin biopsies under local anesthesia that left a small wound on the arms of all participants. The skin tissue was then later used for a study. A week later, Broadbent and her colleagues started photographing the wounds every 3 to 5 days until the wounds had completely healed. 11 days after the biopsy, 76% of the group that had written about trauma had fully healed, while only 42% of the other group had. Now, this isn't magic. It isn't a make-believe or fantasy. It is basically science at work. Writing for just 10 to 20 minutes a day allows you to release all the negative energies you're garnering and makes room for something more positive. It reduces stress levels drastically, which then allow us to sleep easier and sleep better, which all result in a healthier mind and a healthier body. It's basically like a domino effect. A healthier mind and body is then open to healing and overcoming traumas. A healthy mind and body is strong and can fight off what life throws at us. And if writing can literally heal our physical wounds, imagine what it can do to the subconscious. This form of expression is that powerful. And in today's world where we spend so much of our time on the internet, we've become so desensitized and disconnected from ourselves. We're scared to be alone. We're scared to spend time with ourselves. Writing, though, provides us a sense of solidarity. It gives us a space to have a conversation with ourselves, giving us the power to learn about who we are and where we want to be. Because success, love, happiness, it's all in here. It isn't out there. So we have to connect with ourselves to get to where we want to be and make the most out of this short and splendid gift we call life. Thank you.